So they think they could just get away with the privilege of not being accountable because of all the structures that are put into place. One thing.
Women, we like to victimize ourselves a lot and never take accountability for our part we play in our own suffering.
I saw this one video where this lady was talking about, in this generation, we have created it that women can no longer be wrong.
This all the time. I talk about accountability and what do we want women to take accountability for? Now, in these videos, you know, there's a lot of women talking about women not taking accountability. And for me, I don't care. Like, I don't care if women are saying it. That doesn't, just because a woman is saying it, it doesn't make it any more or less valid to me, you know? So I don't mind getting into this or whatever, but this idea is definitely perpetuated mainly by men, that women don't take accountability. It's definitely perpetuated mainly by men. But this idea that women have a problem with accountability, or specifically black women, like in some of these videos, it's like they want to go even further and say black women are the worst, and then, you know, whatever, but just women in general, is categorically false. And they know it and we know it, right? They are buying into the, you know, they're buying into the patriarchal propaganda that permeates our society and says that women are really partially to blame for their own abuses and their own suffering.
So they think they could just get away with the privilege of not being accountable because of all the structures that are put into place. One thing you guys mentioned before earlier was about Maury. Think about the concept of Maury. This is why so many women today are incapable of understanding the word accountability when they look at the different structures within our society today.
This nigga yapping, but as soon as you mention daytime TV as a reference, I know you're a completely unserious human being. Everything else out of your mouth is going to be nothing short of bullshit. 100, no doubt about it. Maury Povich was fake. I think like Corey Holcomb was on Maury Povich. Like actors, paid actors went on Maury Povich. Maybe some of those stories were real. Maybe some of those stories were real. Not all of them, and not most of them were. There's no way. They couldn't fill the space. There's not enough people that don't know who their daddy's, who the baby's daddy is. There's not enough people.
The concept of Maury is she can test 6 to 10 men, but she'll never get booed. Ever.
She gets clapped.
She can come out up on stage and never get booed, but they'll boo all 6 of the guys, even if they were never the father.
That was hyperbolic as fuck, because no. But even that was hyperbolic as fuck.
You need to be a dad. You need to be a dad.
She's not mine.
You're telling me that I raped you, but if I...
So you believe this? You think this was a real story? You think these were two people like really here? This really happened? He claimed like this really happened in y'all mind? This really happened? A woman raped this man, got pregnant, and then what happened at the end? Let's see.
Raped you, then how'd you get...
Talk about accountability, right? Because
you see the crowd. Oh, it's fake. Maury Povich is fake. What the fuck is going on, dude? Are we in the Twilight Zone? Are you children? Maury Povich is fake. Never use Maury Povich as a reference. Saying that women don't take accountability because of Maury Povich is wild. Because for every one time a woman, you know, didn't know who the father was or whatever the case may be, what about all the other times when the baby actually was the man? Like, I'm saying the story is fake, but let's look at it. Let's look at it. Since we're using it to show how women don't take accountability, can we also use it to show how men don't take accountability? Ever? Because it was the men were the ones not taking accountability the vast majority of the time. It wasn't the women. The women still took accountability because guess what? That woman is still taking care of that baby. If that's a real story, that woman is still taking care of that baby. And so where's the man at? Where's the father?
the modern woman would prefer to lie than take accountability. So with the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case, she preferred to lie than to be seen. Because I've always said that women have a perception, right, that they want to keep up.
Johnny Depp was an abuser. It was proven that he was abusive in court. That case was riddled with propaganda.
They want to be seen a certain way.
Showing the shorter image.
And so what it is that for women, image is everything, right? And so with Amber Heard,
That's so hilarious listening to black men say that women are all caught up in image. And I know all black men aren't a monolith, but black men in general, we hate when we literally hide behind the whole like, oh, see, y'all always want to call us out publicly. Black men are so concerned with our image externally, but we do nothing to correct our image internally. We don't actually change our behaviors internally, right? Interpersonally, we won't. But externally, we'll fight tooth and nail, and we'll try to burn everybody down who rightly critiques us. Especially a black woman. If a black woman critiques us, pitchforks are coming out, tiki torches are coming out, and y'all are fucking marching down to her residence or her work and trying to get her up out of here. So this is hilarious here. Oh, women they just lied up. Like, shut. Ugh.
She didn't want her image to be destroyed. With the women that go on the Maury show, and I'm telling you, they go crazy. He should have been doing this before the DNA test comes out, by the way. They're going crazy because what? They're trying to keep an image, right? The problem is, the reason why MTR was talking about, okay, DNA test should be mandatory. The reason why they won't do it is because women's image would be destroyed.
That's not what it is. They've done it in other countries. They did mandatory tests. Guess what happened? It was a waste of money. It was a waste of money. Come to find out, it was a waste of money. Who would have thought that 99% of people know that they're the father? Like that would be the numbers. It would be 99. It would be 1 out of every 99 that would come back. Oh, he's not the dad. And they didn't know. 1 out of 99. Okay. It's men that don't want to be tested, by the way. It's men that don't want to be tested.
Destroyed. Women want an image in this society, and their image is going to be destroyed. So what they would prefer.
Women want an image in this society. What does that mean? Everybody has an image in this society.
To do is lie, because there are many people, most people believe that women are quite innocent, believe that they're the ones that are always a victim, right?
I don't believe women are always victims. I do believe that women are always victims of misogyny, always. But I don't believe that in every single interpersonal interaction and encounter that women are never wrong. Of course, they're wrong often. There are tons of women that are wrong.
What will happen is their image will be destroyed and they'll be seen for who they are, and they don't want it.
In the case of 11-month-old Lila, Drew,
I can't believe they're using Maury Povich clips. This is how disgusting y'all are. You guys don't have the real numbers. That's why you don't want to do it. So let's talk about this. Just real quick little cursory search we did. And I've seen the real numbers, but this is just real quick. I just want to show you, this is why they won't even do this. This is why they would rather use clips of Maury, a fucking TV show, rather than just look this shit up themselves, right? The percentage of paternity fraud varies depending on the study. Studies that looked at couples who obtained paternity testing because paternity was being disputed found an incidence of 17 to 33%, median of 26.9%. Now let me break that down for the Negroes and the men that don't understand what we say. It says studies that looked at couples who obtained paternity testing because paternity was being disputed. So this is in cases when there was when the man or whatever, they had a reason to suspect that the baby wasn't theirs, right? They had a rational reason to suspect that the baby wasn't theirs. The number varies, but between 17 and 33%. So anywhere between roughly, right? 1 out of 5 to 1 out of 3, somewhere around there. The median is about 20, call it about 25%. So 1 out of 4 when you break it up, when you whatever, try to find the median. So about 27%, whatever, call it 25%. 1 out of 4, 25%. 1 out of 4 when the man had a reason to think that the baby wasn't his. It was still 1 out of 4. So 75% of the time, the overwhelming amount of times that it got that the test results came back, it actually proved paternity for that man, right? 75% of the time. Now, let's keep reading. However, DNA estimates of misattributed paternity from samples that cross a broad range of society suggest the rate is between 1 and 3%. That's when they don't have a reason to suspect. That's just when they're just randomly getting tested for whatever reason. Removing when they have a reasonable reason to suspect it, it is between 1 and 3%. This shit almost never fucking happens. That's my point. That's what I've been trying to tell y'all. Stop bringing up Maury Povich. The reason you have to bring up Maury Povich is because you know if you look at the real numbers, it doesn't make sense.
Of 11-month-old Lila, Drew, you are not.
Propaganda. Maury Povich is propaganda. I don't even blame Maury. I don't. I know people are going to disagree with that. I don't even blame Maury. He would tell you his show was fucking fake. If you talk to him, he would tell you it was fake. That's what I'm saying. I don't even blame him. He didn't think Americans were this dumb, especially American men.
But you know what happens when they do get found out to be lying? They get consoled.
No, they run off.
Oh my God, I got
They run off and scream.
Don't worry. They run off and scream.
I got so many stories about this.
And everyone's like, oh, it's okay. So what it is that there's no accountability. Me and MTR know, right? If a guy does something.
Once again, I want us to understand. Every time he says there's no accountability for the woman, I want y'all to understand that woman is still with that child. The women that whatever happens, the test result, she still is taking care of the children. That is her accountability. Okay? Just remember that.
And it's wrong and it goes tits up. There's an accountability there, right? There's accountability right there. Women get consoled, they get cuddled.
Men get no. Where is the accountability for men? Please tell me, where's the accountability for men?
Get told that it's okay, don't worry about it. So then she does what? She goes and does it again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she never learned the lesson. There was no real consequence.
Exactly. If I she's consoled by men and women.
Men and women.
I had to help you. Don't jump all over her, okay? It's okay, Lila.
Also, a reason why this may happen, if you think about, I know you guys lack empathy, but hear me out. What if she just genuinely didn't know that the baby wasn't his? What if she really thought the baby was his? Should we fucking abuse her, beat her up for, like, I don't understand. It's crazy work. So they're saying Maury and women don't take accountability and all of that stuff. Sure. Okay. How about in relationships? Right? Let's talk about it.
Women, we like to victimize ourselves a lot and never take accountability for our part we play in our own suffering. And
what does that mean? What do you mean, the part you play in your own suffering? I would love to have answered that question, because it sounds a bit like she's saying, yeah, the man that I'm in a relationship with is causing me to suffer, and I should be partly to blame for that, but I'm not understanding how. Like, because you're with them? Is that what it is? I'm very curious.
A lot of my relationships, they ended, and a lot of them were because I chose the wrong man, and I stayed around for the wrong things.
So, victim blaming. I chose the wrong man, meaning I chose a man I thought was going to be a good partner. Come to find out he wasn't. So I'm to blame for that. How can you seriously? Yeah, here's the thing. Here's what I'm saying. Here's why what she's saying, she's contradicting herself to me, right? Because this is what women often do. This is what women often do. They take accountability for their own suffering when they shouldn't. Women take too much accountability when it comes to this stuff. They take too much accountability. Because how was this your fault? How was this the woman's fault? Anybody, man or woman, you're in a relationship with the person turns out to be an abuser. How was that your fault? Because you were with them because they had a fat ass, or you were with them because he had a lot of money, or whatever. It's still not your fault. I don't think you guys understand how it works. It is still not your fault. It does. Were you abusing them? No? Okay. Then how the fuck can you be blamed for their abuse of you? If you were abusing them and then they were reacting to the abuse, got you. Okay. Right? But if you weren't abusing them and you were just there, I don't care why you were there, but you were there. And then they chose to abuse you. It is not the person, it is not the abused fault. That is victim blaming 101. That is abusive. Telling an abused person that they are the reason for their own abuse is abusive. That compounds the abuse.
But it was really hard after those relationships ended to reflect on the things I did wrong, because I felt so guilty about it and ashamed. And I'm like, no, I'm not this person. I'm a good person. I'm not selfish. I'm all these things. But in reality, it was really important for me to stop playing the victim and start understanding where I can be better. And I think that a big...
So it sounds like you took accountability, though. Lord help us. It sounds like you took accountability. Now, can I ask you this, ma'am? When do men ever have this aha moment after they break up? When do men ever have this aha moment?
Big shift for me was understanding that all your relationships are mirrors.
Men don't have that aha moment. And that's, men don't have that aha moment, generally speaking. Let's be fucking for real. We got Carlos back with another bad take, but I want to share this with you because, so remember what the young lady just said, right, in the previous clip. Now listen to what Carlos is saying about men after they break up.
Have you noticed men don't bounce back from hard breakups?
Yeah. Oh, they really don't.
It ain't like once a nigga go through, like, not if you just fucking with somebody and, you know what I mean, in passing, but if a man been like a real long-term relationship, he don't just leave that motherfucker and go jump to some new shit and be happy. Yeah. Not unless he been unhappy for a real long time, but if that nigga was happy at some point and then she completely switched the program, that shit fucking nigga up.
How do you deal with heartbreak?
Shit, a man don't. That shit, I'm telling you, it is like...
A man doesn't, but why? Why? Because men never take accountability. Even in this, look at what he says about the woman. Oh, hold on. What did he say about her? What does he say about the woman? What happened?
Yeah. Not unless he been unhappy for a real long time, but if that nigga was happy at some point.
So he's blaming the woman for his happiness. See how the men talk about it? He's blaming the woman for his happiness, right? Oh, unless he been unhappy for a long time, which would excuse him cheating or whatever, right? No accountability. Now, what does he say? So if that's not the case, then what happens?
And then she completely switched the program.
She completely switched the program. She changed up. Right? Keep going. No accountability.
That shit fucking nigga up.
How do you deal with heartbreak?
Shit, a man don't.
A man doesn't process his emotions. He doesn't take accountability. A part of processing your emotions would be, what did I do wrong? How did I get here? So on and so forth, right? He doesn't do that. He never wants to face it.
That shit, I'm telling you, it is like you either gonna be a better man after that, or your shit finna go way the fuck down. It ain't no in between.
Have you ever had your heart broke?
Hell yeah.
How many times?
Once.
And so because it only happened at one time, you ain't never let it happen
But
again.
it didn't like it just happened in.
He talking about in the 5th grade, by the way. Hell yeah, 5th grade. Susie Q.
One day. Like it took a long time for it to be like, you know what I'm saying? For it to be completely done. It was like you break your back, and then after 5 years of rehab,
now you
surgeries,
feel it. You still
like,
feel it.
it was like,
feel it, but it's
I
working
had
now.
13 surgeries on my heart after that shit got broke. I had to learn how to walk again.
So
I
what
was
would you do
eating
if you saw
soft
her
food.
today?
Nothing.
Like you still got love for her though?
Man, you grow this shit. It don't last forever. But if you get caught at a certain point in
He literally just contradicted. He said it lasts forever. He said men don't ever recover. The fuck?
your life, the time that it take to recover back from a real heartbreak, that shit take a long time. Like this, the more you get up in life.
But you know what?
That's because men don't take accountability. Also, bullshit. Here's what happens. Statistically, men are more likely to remarry than a woman. Women don't. After women like go through heartbreak, they'll avoid men altogether. Like they don't give a fuck. Especially like a marriage, I would say. Maybe not a relationship, but like a marriage, absolutely. A woman is like, I'm done. Like I tried it. I was with this man for 15 years. I saw some diabolical shit the other day. This woman she said that she had it was on Queer Eye. I gotta watch Queer Eye. I like the new. I've been meaning to watch the new episode. Anyways, so this woman, she was telling this story about how she was with this dude. She was married to this dude she was with this dude, and he said that he was going on a business trip to like LA, and then she said that she was like, okay, bye, whatever, and then he left, and then he eventually called her. When he called her, he was like, I'm in the Philippines. And she was like, what are you doing in the Philippines? And he was just like, yeah, I'm not coming back. And then some lady like reached out to her, and she was like, the lady was like, oh, who are you or whatever? And she was like, who are you? And then the lady was like, it was like, how do you know him? And she was like, I'm his wife. And she was like, the lady asked him, what? You're his wife? She said, I'm his wife too. And they were like, what? And then the other lady asked the woman who got cheated on, she said, how long have you been his wife? And she said, 30 years. And the other lady said, and then she asked the other woman, how long have you been his wife? And she said, 8 years. This nigga had 2 wives, one for 30 and one for 8. He had lied to the woman, to the 8-year wife, and told her or convinced her that his 30-year wife was his sister. Yes. So yeah. This shit is crazy. After some shit like that, if a woman don't want to date a man ever again, I understand. The shit that be breaking men's heart be, you was a piece of shit to this woman for 10 years. You cheated 3 or 4 times. You done got caught. She kept telling you to help out. You wouldn't help out. She had asked you to clean. You wouldn't clean up. Then she finally leaves you, and now you, oh my God. Now you sliding down a pink ball and you just can't recover because you can never take accountability. Now this right here, sorry, it's the wrong one. Let me get the right clip. I saved the worst for last. This right here, I couldn't ignore this one. I couldn't ignore. First of all, if you guys don't recognize her, I think her name is like, oh man, I know she's like 6 feet though. I used to follow her on Instagram a long time ago. I liked her content. She was super cool. But now she has fallen into this lane of grifting and, pandering to men and saying the things that men want to hear women say. And this is sad right here. This is disgusting. But I had to address it. I can't avoid this. This is crazy.
Black women are the group of women failing the most out of all other women, but are the first group of women where if you even think about making a suggestion to them, if you even think about correcting a Black woman in any way, the response is always, why do you care? Why is it your business? Why are you worried about it? It's like the more they fail, the more you can't tell them.
How are Black women failing more than any other group of women? In what way? I want to know specifically in what way she's talking about. Maybe in some ways it's true. I don't know. You know, racism is a real thing. So I won't ignore that. I'm sure I know black women are being incarcerated at a high rate or whatever the case may be because of racism. It doesn't have anything to do with them being a black woman, with like themselves, like some innate thing. But okay, like, but where is that blanket statement coming from? In what way are black women failing? Because to me, what I see, whatever failings are, in whatever way that black women are failing, I can 100%, or I won't say 100%, that's hyperbolic. I'll say that 99% of it, 95% of it is due to racism, right? It's due to all the whole deck being stacked against him, right? Well, I'm sorry, misogyny too, of course, misogyny, but I'm saying like, comparing them to other women, I'm saying it's because of racism, because she said they're failing more than every other group of women, right? But that's because of racism. That's not because they're, saying like they're all like black women are doing more with less though. You see what I'm saying? Like that's how you have to look at it. You can't grade it based like and look at it in a vacuum and be like black women are failing and da 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 da. I was like, yeah, because racism is fucking real. Capitalism is real. Sexism is real. And that's where all those things meet when you talk about black women. That's where all the intersectionality intersects. It all intersects at black women, right? If we're talking about cishet people, it all intersects at black women. It all intersects at black trans women, right? If you want to be real for real, black trans women, black queer people. That's where, where the most intersection happens, right? That's where everything's they're getting hit from every single goddamn angle, right? But if we're talking about cishet people, black women would be where all the sections intersect. So to say that black women are failing compared to every other group of women and ignore the fact that we still suffer under systemic oppressions such as racism and capitalism is wild. And I know she's smart enough to know that because this woman is smart. I've seen her other content. She's really smart. She's clearly pandering.
And, every time you're on TikTok and you see a sister doing a think piece about how we're the victim and everyone should feel bad for us, just block them. No one is doing anything to us. We're doing this to ourselves. So
how is that possible? Doing what? So where do black women have all this power at? I'm talking about it's institutionally, not individually. Where do black women have all of this institutional power to do these things to themselves? What about the black men that are abandoning their children? Huh? What about the fact that if your name is Shaquanda or Keisha Jones, Shaquanda Richardson, and you put it on an application, they won't give you a call back. They won't call you. No matter if you have a degree, they don't give a fuck. They don't care if you're pretty. They'll never find out. What about that? We're not talking about that. None of that matters. Okay,
it's a joke at this point. I don't even see how there's an end to it. The only thing that will save black women right now is tribalism. You are going to have to find a tribe and stick to that because as the collective, this is not working out and it is not looking good. The baby mama epidemic is the real pandemic.
And people having less children now than ever. Fathers are more involved now than ever. But it still wouldn't be a single mom epidemic. It would be an absentee father epidemic.
For black women at this point, I wish there was a vaccine for it. The vaccine would be maybe common sense.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That type of rhetoric is dangerous, is disgusting. And like I said, I don't care if a woman is saying it. I don't care if a black woman is saying it. That's dangerous. You can't say that you can't say that type of stuff. Like that is just a fucking lie. That's a lie that is going to lead to real world violence against black women. And you as a black woman saying that is crazy to me. That's crazy. Like crazy. The grift is strong. The grift is really strong with y'all. Like those of you who over here, you want to make, you know what I'm saying? You want to make your money. You want to make your money pandering to men, black men specifically. You're dangerous. That is dangerous rhetoric. That is going to lead to real world violence against black women. I don't like that. I don't care who you are. You cannot do that. Cannot do that. But black women, to me, when I look at black women as a group, I see the most resilient group of people in all of society. I see the people making something out of nothing. I see the people raised in the same households with black men who are failing. Black men are failing, crashing. I see those same women raised in those same homes under the same circumstances, with the same parents, right? Same neighborhoods, same shitty schools, going to college. I see those women showing up for their babies, still taking care of the babies. I see those women saving the community one child at a time, protecting the community one child at a time. Like, that's what I see. So hearing that type of rhetoric is mind-blowing to me. Like, not even that I hope, but I mean, like, you got to be making tens of millions of dollars a year to sell people out like that. To sell black women out like that as a black woman, you got to be making tens of millions of dollars, as far as I'm concerned. Like, I hope it was worth it, because what the fuck is that? That is crazy.